What is up, YouTube? This is me, Beamng here, and today we are ranking every single chassis that is available on the Beam Monsters website. Now, there are some chassis that are on some Discords that are like early access being made and are for little communities and stuff that I'm not going to count in this video. So like the Nathan Hills chassis on CRD or the Showdown Pack, those two are off limits because they're not publicly available to everyone, because you need to find them because you gotta do certain ways to get to them. So we're not gonna do those ones, but we have a bunch of other chassis. But I mean, let's get into it. I mean, let's just start with the first chassis here. All right, so we have this CRD chassis here, and I'm just gonna do a quick little run with the truck, and then I can give you my thoughts on the truck, and I'll give the rating. So drive around here for a bit with this truck. So this is, by the way, this has a little bit of extra push to it because of it being the first ever Beam Monsters chassis being made. It's, I don't know when it was last updated. It might have been 24, 25-ish, near the end of 24, because they started working on the Beam Monsters chassis at the end of 24, I think. So it might be a little outdated by now, but it's the chassis that started it all. I mean, like, gotta give it credit for what it do, for it being the first chassis and all. And the chassis that I started with and most people started with, because it's the original Beam Monsters CRD chassis. So I definitely give it some points, and it's a really easy chassis to work with here. There's nothing wrong with the chassis at all. I feel like they've mastered it perfectly. And I mean, yeah, I think that's probably enough for me to say to give my ranking already. Just go ahead here and respawn the truck real quick, and we're gonna swap over here to our tier list. And as you see here, we have our trucks that we are going to be ranking today. In the CRD chassis, it belongs in perfect chassis. Okay, I have to put it there. I have over 1,000 trucks in the CRD chassis, and I bet all of them are the exact same, but they're still perfect. There's nothing wrong with the chassis. It's the perfect chassis. Everyone started with it. Always been good. It's always been there for everyone. And dude, it's just perfect chassis. I'm like, you can't argue. You're arguing with a brick wall if you're trying to argue against it. The whole community loves this chassis. If you hate this chassis, then I don't know why you're even playing the game. But let's move on to the next chassis. And here is the CRC chassis. Now this is the second chassis I think to ever come out for Beam Monsters. I am going fix it. I gotta remember, I gotta keep going back in between scenes. I'm a little trying to use this again. But this is the second chassis I think ever made by Beam Monsters, the CRC chassis, aka it literally is the CRC chassis. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's usually the Avenger and Mayhem and Corey Rummel, Megalodon, or Chris Kohler and Monster Mutt. Anything that the Kohlers use, or anyone that's a part of Team Scream uses. So, or they use the Kohler chassis, but we will get to that later. Overall, it's a good chassis. Only critique is that has 3 gears, as you see, instead of 2. Usually the trucks, if you look at the tachometer in the corner, usually the trucks are at M2. That's like the normal, but for some reason for CRC they go up to M3. So just letting you know that. What else? It is a little bigger, so if you haven't noticed, it's a little longer than your normal CRD chassis. It's a little bigger, a little more heavier, so you got to get used to that. It is a good chassis. It's kind of like a CRD, but if you made it heavier and gave it one more gear. It works exactly like that. So it's a pretty good chassis. It is beginner friendly, honestly, because it's not too hard to use. All the chassis are honestly beginner friendly, except for one chassis, but we'll get to that. But I think that's good enough to give a ranking. Okay, so now we're in a tier list. In our tier list, we have the CRC chassis here. We are gonna put it in the great chassis area. It's a good chassis. Not everyone likes it. There are some little things to it that make it a little worse than the CRD chassis, but it still works. But let's move to our next chassis. And next up, we have the Beamng chassis. Now, it is one of my favorite chassis to use. If you watch my live streams, you know I love to use this chassis a lot. It is a really good chassis, and this is the Beamng Mentz. So this is Tom Mentz's chassis for Max D. This is the Mentz 8 and 9 chassis. Which is good. It does lack sway bars, so as you tell, it leans far left and far right. And is the only chassis with a front engine. The Beamngs are the only ones with front engines. It is a thing that Tom Mentz would do because of, I don't know, it just works better for him. And his seat is positioned in like how a car would be. So you would be driving on the left side, and usually in martial arts you're in the middle of the seat. But for Tom Mentz, he drove on the left side. So it'd be kind of like a car, honestly, because you get the engine in front, driving on the left. So it is really cool. Love this chassis a lot, just because of Max D. But what else there? You definitely gotta get used to it though. It's definitely just like a CRD minus the sway bars, and you have front. That's literally what it is. Because of the leaning and all that, it's really good for two-wheel skills because of the engine weight in the front. So it kind of, I don't know, it just kind of feels better to do two-wheel skills. I feel more stable, as you see right here. But this chassis is overall really good, and I think that's good enough to give me a ranking. These are my personal rankings. I didn't state that before. These are my personal rankings, so do not be offended by these rankings. These are my personal opinions on these chassis, so do not worry about it. But let's go to the tier list. Okay, now that we are in a tier list, of course I'm throwing this in the perfect chassis. It is so good. I love this chassis. It is so good. I love this chassis way too much. There's nothing else I can say. It's one of my personal favorites, so that's why it belongs in there. But let's go to our next chassis. Okay, here we are with our next chassis, and it is the Kohler chassis. Now, this chassis is pretty good. It's basically a really small chassis, and it's also missing the sway bars, I just noticed. So it's kind of like the Mentz chassis, but really small. It is a chassis that Jim Kohler uses. That's why it's called the Kohler chassis. Joe Foley also uses this chassis in real life. I don't think they call it the Kohler chassis in real life though. There's definitely a different name to it, and I just broke a soul somehow. I didn't know I forgot you could do that on these chassis. They're really fragile, which might deduct the point because of how fragile this chassis is. Fragile chassis do not hold up well with me. I like bashing around, throwing big air out, all that. So if you've seen my live streams, you know how I drive, and you can just tell I do not like fragile trucks. I like trucks that are built strong and aren't meant to break within like one run. I want to end the run with no gas. But there's definitely a different name to the trucks in real life. There's definitely a different name to this chassis. It's definitely not Kohler, but they just named it Kohler after Jim Kohler because he uses this chassis. This is his chassis. He usually uses CRC though. But for World Finals, he brings out this. He brought it out for the high jump. He thought it'd be better, but it is a nice chassis. It's perfect. You still see this chassis run today with Joe Foley. Joe Foley loves using this chassis for sure. I think he's running Ultra Loco on it right now. What else is there? But yeah, I mean, it's a good chassis. Not too bad. There are some little critiques to it. And could be a little better if it wasn't so fragile. I think it's time to go to the tier list right now. Okay, so we are on the tier list. Time to rank it. I'm putting it at good. It could be better, but it's just good. It's not a great chassis or a perfect chassis. It's good. We are gonna have, don't worry, there will be a chassis in the terrible and the eh. So you just gotta keep waiting. Let's go to our next chassis. And here we are with our next chassis, the PEI chassis. Now this chassis is usually using Bounty Hunter, but it looks a little different. This is just the regular PEI chassis. Bounty Hunter uses his own. He uses PEI though. But there is other trucks that use this. Like there's a crustacean. There's a crustacean on this. Gravedigger was used on some of these PEI chassis. There's Gravedigger PEI, there's Crustacean, there's Bounty Hunter, there's Scarlet Bandit. It's mainly a independent truck chassis. It is a good chassis. I don't use it a lot, so you can tell that I'm not going to be a huge fan of it because I just don't use it that much. If I don't use a chassis that much, that means I'm not a really huge fan of it. I don't know. It's just it's kind of like a smaller CRD. Just a smaller CRD. It's like Kohler and CRD had a baby. Yeah, I feel like that's what it is. If Kohler and CRD had a baby, it would make this chassis right here. Because you got like CRD stuff, but you have like a really small chassis like Kohler chassis. Really not much to it. I mean, there's nothing huge about this. I mean, there is War Wizard on it too, and there's Bounty Hunter, like I said, like for the 30th time. But I feel like that's all I gotta say for the chassis. I think it's time to go to the tier list to rank this chassis. Okay, sorry for the video back there with the PEI chassis. I forgot to change scenes again. I need to really fix that. But I'm putting this chassis in mid at best. No, I'm putting it good. Because there's nothing really wrong with it. It's just, I don't use it a lot, so I can't really rank it fairly. All these other chassis, I definitely have 100 plus hours on them. Except for Kohler. Maybe CRC and, because I have 1,000 hours in this game, so there's definitely a bunch of hours on a certain chassis. It's probably CRD. CRD probably holds the most hours, but, and then Willman, then CRC, and then Beam is coming right up on that. Same with Showdown Pack, but I can't rank that because it's not a thing for everyone to get. But let's move on to our next chassis and the most confusing chassis. Okay, so the next chassis is the in-house chassis, but it's so confusing. They should have just made it one whole thing. It's just making me really mad because you have the Team Bigfoot chassis is a part of it, the Shocker in-house chassis is a part of it, the Craig Christensen Motorsports chassis is a part of it, the MVI is part of it, the Fred Schaefer in-house. There's so many. This is in it. 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 Like, put it all in one. Same with Gravedigger 3. He's part of it too. Just put it all in one. It's going to make it easier. But we're just going to do the bust and loose in-house. That's what we're going to do for the ranking. I don't use this chassis, so I'm going to brutally rank this by running it for one run. So let's see. I don't know much about it. All I know is it's kind of slow. Okay, I don't even have rear steer on this thing. Why did I not set up the rear steer? Hold up. Give me a break. Okay, we're back. I fixed it. Okay, I hate chassis that take forever to start up. This is one of them. I don't know why it's so long. Jesus Christ. This is definitely supposed to be an old chassis, so this is definitely going to get a really low ranking. Because this is for like the people that like doing old role plays or like remaking old events with old trucks, for sure. Because old trucks used to be really slow, apparently. So far, I'm still not a fan of this chassis. It's making me unhappy just driving it. It's so slow. And I have my reasons, okay? Can it even do a backflip? Let's see. It did a backflip. Alright, it gives it some brownie points. Can't even do a stoppie, though. Let's see. I can do a stoppie with it. Okay. Probably because I'm the stoppie king, but like... Actually, I'm not titling myself that. Don't take that as credit. Don't take that. No, please don't. But I've seen enough. Nope. Let's go rank this chassis. All right. Let's go to the next chassis. Next chassis. Next chassis. And this is the next chassis, the Gravedigger 20 chassis. Now I'm keeping the body on because I need to. It's the Gravedigger 20 chassis. I don't use this chassis at all. As soon as I'm done with this video, it's getting removed because I don't use this chassis at all. I just use the regular Gravediggers and stuff from the Beam Monsters and the CRDs. I use those ones. They're so much better. This is like old Gravedigger. This is like Dennis Anderson Prime Gravedigger. I don't really use it, but it is a nice truck though, honestly. Gravedigger 20 is a nice truck. It's perfect. There is a little issues with it. There is some no texture on it, but it's no biggie. You can barely see it anyway. Doesn't even matter. There isn't much trucks to choose from, but I don't care. There's not much trucks to choose from in other ones, so I can't complain. It is a nice chassis. You can do everything with it. The only thing you have to do though is lock your front differential if you want four-wheel drive. If not, then you're rear-wheel driving it. You gotta remember to do that. You definitely know it's an old truck because it only says Adam and Ryan on the tombstone. It doesn't even say Chris and Weston. Because Weston wasn't even alive yet. Kidding, he was. He was a kid probably though still. While Adam and Ryan were definitely older. But Gravedigger 20 is good. This is prime Dennis Anderson, so it is a good chassis. And I'm gonna... Okay, so you can't break your... I don't know what the hell that was, dude. This chassis has a fast acceleration, I'll tell you that for sure though. I like it though, and I love the zoomies, so let's go rank this chassis. Okay, now that we are on the tier list, I am going to put it at it's a great chassis. Overall, there's a little bit of critiques to it, that there's a lock and unlocking front differential. I mean, people like locked and unlocking front differentials. They're good. But it is good. And let's move to the next chassis. And here is our next chassis, the Racehorse chassis. Now this chassis, not many people use. I don't use it either. It's kind of slow. But it does work though. It's like a normal chassis. I don't know the difference. It might be a little heavier. A little bit though. There's no difference. There's not much of a difference. It's like if PEI and Willman had a baby. Besides it having sway bars. Except for Willman doesn't. So the Racehorse is good. I don't really use it that much. One of the chassis I don't really use, just like the other ones, but I still keep it in my game in case I need it really bad. Then I keep it. I just got stuck to the wall. But it is a good overall chassis. I'll keep saying that for every chassis except for the in-house chassis. We don't talk about that. Good chassis. Did a I think I just did a freaking. It's also rear-wheel drive. If you didn't know. I think. No, it's four-wheel. No, it's four because there's a front to it. Four-wheel. It just does not have enough power to pick itself up. But let's go rank this chassis. Okay, now we're on the tier list. We're gonna put it at mid at best. It's a good chassis overall, but it's just not up there. Now, let's move to the next chassis. And here we are with the next chassis, the SIC chassis. Now this chassis barely gets used. I barely see anyone use this. It's actually on the Beat Monsters website. It is the Squid Industries chassis, also known as the SIC. It is a brand new chassis to me. This is new to me, but it's definitely staying in my game for sure. It is a pretty good chassis. And it has spark brakes too. So like when you brake, it sparks. And they glow too, if you can see. They glow also, which is really cool. It is a unique chassis. It is custom made by a indie developer. It's not made by Beam, so the only chassis in here that's actually not made by Beam Monsters themselves. So round of applause for Squid Industries for making the list. For being on the Beam Monster website also insane. It would be nice. So now I'm not saying it. They should do it, and I'm not pushing them to do it. And I'm not trying to be rude that they're doing that. I feel like the people that made the Showdown pack and Nathan Hills with his Nathan chassis should maybe in the future, if they ever fully finish their chassis, release it to Beam Monsters. But they don't have to. They don't need to. I don't care if they do or not. I just feel like they should get their credit, and I feel like more people should see their work because their work is honestly amazing. But back to the SIC chassis, this chassis is really good. The engine sound is awesome. It is a really long chassis, but it is still really good. I can do everything a CRD chassis can do on this chassis. It's like the length of the in-house chassis I was using plus CRD. So it's way quicker, as you see. See the acceleration on the engine? Dude, just look at the details of the truck, dude. It's nice. It is a nice chassis. Yeah, he deserves every credit that's due. SIC chassis. Let's go rank him. Now we are on the thing. The tier list. Why did I say the thing? We are on the tier list now. I'm putting it in great chassis. I'm not putting it in perfect. Actually, no, we're going to leave it in great chassis. There's some little things that I don't like about it, but I just don't want to. I can't think of it on the top of my head, but like there's some little things to it. I definitely like that as soon as you open the chassis up, you get freestyles tune and a racing tune with it. But yeah, it's a good overall chassis. If it had a little more to it, it would be a perfect chassis. But let's move on to the last and final chassis. And here we are, the final chassis, the Beam Monsters chassis. Oh my god, what is there to talk about this thing? Now, for me, it is not. I don't know if it really deserves perfect chassis yet. Because I still have to get used to this truck. As you see right there, I tipped over. The steering is so niche. You have to get so used to this truck in order to hit a turn like this. Because some people will just hit a turn like this, like really sharp, and they'll just flip the truck. But if you look at the details of this truck, it is insane. Also, gotta give it a little critique. You gotta give it a little cool thing here. It is the first it's the first chassis with a backup camera. So inside of the truck, there is a backup cam in the truck that the monster trucks have now in there, the backup cameras. Overall, it's a good chassis. The new RII system is in there, the new simulation additions to it, where your transmission will overheat, or your planetaries will break, or your rear steer will get locked, which I'm not a huge fan of those, so I kind of turn them off. I don't like too much realism. I'm sorry. I like more arcade than realism. For the people that do like realism, though, that's perfect for them and stuff. I have one little critique right now with the chassis. If you like brake too hard in midair, I think he said. No, it's something. It's where if you have big air and you land the truck really hard, it just shuts off. Even if you have your RIs off, it'll shut off for some reason. It's really dumb. It's been ruining some of my runs lately for the TikToks I've been doing. So I'd have to restart a whole run just because of it. Here, I'm going to hit a big jump from up here and try to see if it will do anything when I land. I'll hit a big jump from right here and see what happens when I land. Okay, so it actually didn't shut the truck off, which is insane. Usually it would. I'd have to probably spawn in one of the newer models of it. That's probably why. Holy hell, what am I doing? Alright, but anything else about this chassis? I love the addition of the widened axles finally. I don't have them on currently. I can show them to you real quick. The wide axles are so much better. I love them so much more. It makes the truck look a little goofy, but I love them. Because it just makes turning a little easier. See? The wider axle. I just like them a lot more. I don't know. It's just me. I like the wide axles a little more. I feel like they're a little more clean. But I feel like that's good enough to rate these. I remember when I was in school and I seen the first video of Beam showing it off, and I was like, yo, this is gonna be fire. And yeah, it turned out to be really good. I wasn't a huge fan at first because I was just terrible with the truck because it was my first time ever using the new Beam trucks, and they're so different than the CRDs and stuff. I was so used to CRD, and then I finally used these trucks more often, and now I'm way more used to them. So I'm so happy these trucks exist, and it's time to go rank them. Okay, sorry for the video of the Beam chassis. I forgot to change the scene again. God damn myself. Hate doing that. Chassis belongs in. It belongs in the perfect chassis. I mean, what can you say about this? There are some critiques to it, but it's still the best chassis we have seen so far come from Beam Monsters. It is the most realistic chassis, and it's just so awesome. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, It is a pretty long video, so hopefully you guys had some snacks during the whole thing and some drinks, because woof, that was a long video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next Saturday with another video, or whenever I'm live again. Peace.